Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loki here. Join me today as we dig up, divide, and move a bleeding heart. So let's go. There are a few different bleeding hearts out there. This video is going to apply specifically to the old-fashioned bleeding heart. When it comes to that type of bleeding heart, it comes in a lot of different colors. The one that I have is a beautiful pink color. It blooms during the early spring months. But this type of bleeding heart also comes in white as well as red. So if you have those colors, you can also divide the plant the way I'm doing in this video. The best time to divide the old-fashioned bleeding heart is either in the very early spring months, as soon as you start seeing new growth appearing, or in the late summer, early fall months, as soon as the weather starts cooling down for you where you live. You normally want to divide your bleeding heart every 2 to 5 years. It's been a number of years since I've divided my bleeding heart plants, so I know that they need to be divided. One of the reasons why I don't divide my bleeding hearts as much as I would like to is because since it blooms during the spring months, I don't want to be messing with the roots too much. I don't want to be dividing it during that time. And then come fall time, the plant is dormant. In other words, it's already died back to the ground and I've already cut it back. So then I basically forget about the plant and then I'm not as good about finding it and dividing it. But today is the day and I wanted to bring you along with my process. I have the old-fashioned bleeding heart in 2 places in my yard. When it bloomed, it looked so pretty. But what I did notice was that the blooms weren't as pretty as previous years, and that tells me the plant really needs to be divided. The one that's around this area here was actually just a little seedling, and over the last few years, it really has gotten bigger. Once the plant started to die back and turn yellow, I came in and I cut back all of my bleeding heart. It looks like I forgot a piece right here, but normally I do cut back all pieces to the ground, and I generally remember where the plant is. If you do want to do the same process in your yard and you do cut back your bleeding heart, you might want to just put some sort of a marker or a tag to remind yourself where the plant is. And then in the late summer, early fall, you'll remember where the plant is because of that tag or marker. So here is the one plant that I never cut back, and it actually looks pretty good considering it's late summer. But I also have sections of the plant that are right here. This is just the old material, and that's how I can also remember where my bleeding heart plant was. It's generally in this section of my flower bed. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be digging the whole entire plant up. It's a lot easier for me to do it that way, so let's go ahead and do that. So again, I know that the plant is generally in this area, so we're going to come out a little bit. We're going to dig down and then over. I'm just going to come on the other side of the plant and dig this way. Okay, I think we got a good part of it out. So let me lift it out and I'll show you what we have. I'm also going to try to take off some of the soil because I want to see what we're working with. Any roots that are left behind, I'm just going to pull out. So this is the big squirrely mess that we dug up. Again, this is just one very small section of the bleeding heart that I had. It was in an area that I didn't love. I have another much bigger section that I'm going to work on a different day, but I figured let's tackle this one first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sift through it and I'm going to pick out some pieces, and then I want to show you what they look like and how I'm dividing them. What I'm doing is I'm pulling aside any of this fleshy, rooty material that doesn't have an apparent eye on it. And I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about when I say an eye. So if it's just a plain old root, it's coming to the side. My plan for any piece that's just a root with no eye on it is I will be putting it in the ground. You just never know. It may end up creating a new plant. I don't want to just throw it away. So I'm just sifting through and looking for pieces that have little white bumps on them, little nodules. Those are the eyes, and those are next year's growth. In terms of dividing it, because it's such a big mass, I'm very carefully trying to pull off any soil and trying to divide it apart. So here's a piece that just came off. And I can see on there, it definitely has at least one growth point for next year. So we can keep that aside. This is not your typical perennial where it has a whole bunch of roots and it has top growth. It's quite different, actually, the way it works. And I think that's why, in one way, this has intimidated me to do this job. But this is the year that I wanted to tackle this. So as long as I'm finding a section that has an apparent white bump or eye on it, it's coming off. And this whole section is definitely too wound up next to each other. It's really important to try to pull it apart at this time, which probably explains why this plant just hasn't been thriving for me. So again, I'm just very carefully trying to pull pieces apart the best that I can. You know, sometimes when you buy plants in the springtime and they call them bare root, this is what this reminds me of. It definitely reminds me of a bare root plant. It has roots and it has some sort of, basically something that looks almost like a tuber, if you want to call it that, but then it has a growth point or an eye. In a perfect world, each division should have maybe 2 or 3 eyes on it, but as I was dividing it, each section is really just falling apart with either no eyes or 1 eye. I'm okay with that. Each section that has an eye, I believe, will produce a plant. And then each section that does not have an eye, it's questionable. I'm not going to throw them away, but I'll definitely put them in the soil and we'll see what happens. And here's another example. It's a smaller piece. You can see it has the eye on there, and that's next year's growth. And then at the base, it also has a little bit of roots, but not much. It's actually, there aren't a ton of roots when it comes to these type of plants, which is very interesting. And so when I talk about roots, I'm talking about roots that we're used to on a plant, when in fact, this right here is the actual root of the plant. And then in this example, again, these are the roots, but then off of it are small little hair-like roots. Some sections will have those little hair-like roots and other sections will not. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish pulling this apart, dividing it, and I'll let you know in the end how many individual sections I got that have an eye on them. Okay, so I divided everything up. This right here is just mostly dirt, and that's about it. This pile over here are all a whole bunch of this root material, but I didn't find any eyes on them. So those, I'm going to just be laying them in the ground. I'm going to find a place in my yard, and I'm just going to be digging a hole. I'm going to be placing all of these in the hole, and let's just see what happens with all of these. I would feel bad throwing them away because you just never know. And you might be wondering, well, what are these? Are these eyes? They're not. That's just where a piece of root broke off. So that's the inside of the root over here. That's what you're noticing. And then over here are 9 divisions that I was able to make. Some are bigger, some are smaller. What I want to do is now bring you in closer to this one over here and talk a little bit about it. I wanted to show you this piece here because I want you to see how big this root is. We don't need all of the root. So we can go ahead and prune the root, and that's called root pruning. I'm going to use something like hand pruners. Something else you could use if the root was very big is a reciprocating saw or a hand pruning saw. I have a nice section of root here, and I have a nice section of root here. So I can go ahead and just cut it like this. I'm going to show you my process for digging a hole and getting one of these roots planted in the ground. Then I'll do the rest of them off camera. The process will be the same, so let's go ahead and get this one planted. This area has sun, but it gets afternoon shade. Normally when it comes to bleeding hearts, you want to put them somewhere where they get a good amount of shade. I'm just pulling back any of the wood chips that I have here towards the back of my flower bed. And now we can go ahead and dig our hole. With this section here, we have 2 eyes. It's very important to make sure that the eyes are facing up. We don't want to plant this upside down. In terms of a planting depth, you want to make sure that the eyes are about 1 inch beneath soil level. So I'm just checking the level here, and actually it seems perfect. The soil that's here is pretty sandy. I have some good compost, so I'm going to be adding some compost into this hole. But if your soil is very good, then you can just use that soil. This soil is pretty sandy and I want to amend it at this time. So we're going ahead and we're just covering things up. We can push down to eliminate any air pockets that might be in there. And then it's very important to keep things well watered. And I want to be doing this on a daily basis for the next 2 weeks or so. And then with the wood chips, I can just put them back on the top. It's important that I didn't have the wood chips in the planting hole. You don't ever want to put wood chips inside of a planting hole because it robs the nitrogen from the plant. It's okay to use your wood chips as a mulch. Another thing I can do at this time is I can put some sort of a garden marker here, just so I know exactly where I planted this bleeding heart, because I want to make sure I'm watering it every day. I'm going to do the same process when it comes to the bleeding heart and put it on the outskirts of many other parts of my flower bed. I can't wait until next spring or the spring after to see it bloom. Sometimes when you divide your bleeding hearts, it may take one whole season before you see blooms on it, so just be patient. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you've ever divided your bleeding hearts, and if so, was it similar to how I did it, or did you do it a little differently? Please drop it down in the comment section below, and until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.